And on to our favourite segment of the day. Honestly, guys, it's just our opinion, which we will get to now because we need to know, is Test cricket dead? Worldwide or just in Australia?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, John. It's a layered question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, John, I think it's not dead, but it's not heading in the right direction. That's for sure. It's not good, John. Everywhere you look, there's someone looking to sort of, put their hooks in a Test cricket. I mean, even after that India-South Africa series we talked about, where it finished 1-1 or 2 Test series. And at the end of that series, Indian legend Ravi Shastri said, if India get asked to play a 2 Test series again, what's the point? They shouldn't play. And so that's even an Indian legend saying that. I mean, India are one of the countries who, we've thought, give Test cricket a high priority. Let's not even think about the countries outside of Australia, England and India who are really having less and less regard for Test cricket by the day at the moment, John.
Yeah, I think South Africa versus India proves that on a worldwide... Cricket is a world game, first of all. On a worldwide scale, Test cricket is dead. South Africa got smashed by India. And then, we've talked about it before, they're going over to New Zealand with their B or C squad, concentrating more on their domestic...
Yeah, I had a look at that squad, John. I did not recognise any of the players.
Not a one.
No. I could read it out to you for a laugh if you want, John.
Who are these guys? But from a perspective of... I think regarding the India-South Africa, it's just that was a waste of time because it was South Africa. If that had been... Well, England's been a bit of a shambles, but if that had been an England-India test, it would have been less of a waste of time.
I think it's more that they didn't have a decider.
Well, I don't think you should ever do 2. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I think that's where Ravi Shastri was coming from. We've had this 1-1. This is 2 powerhouse Test cricket nations. Why aren't we playing a decider? That's where Ravi Shastri got upset. But John, I think Test cricket it shoots itself in the foot a lot of the time. John, even that the other day, right, the last day of the Test, Australia's win over Pakistan. This might seem like a little thing, but when you add them up, it becomes a big deal, John. Australia only needed 39 to win, and they were scoring in quick time. And they decided to go off and have a 40-minute lunch break. Here's an idea. Stay out there for another 20 or 30 minutes. That's the thing. They were scoring that quickly there was only 20 or 30 minutes to go, John. Here's an idea. Maybe stay out there. Let them hit the winning runs. Then you can have all the lunch you want at the end of the game.
I suspected at that time that it had to do with broadcast. They neaded to have the break in the middle.
They wanted to have the break to get their ads in.
Come back and get their ads
in.
Yeah, I suspect at the time. Because it was fully sus. Like, they could have just... It was 20 minutes, They could have finished it earlier.
Things like this, John.
Because they could have gone out and baseballed it and finished it in 3 balls.
Test cricket needs a common sense officer to oversee... Yeah. And there are other examples too throughout that series, John. A 2-hour rain delay, and then they play for 40 minutes and have a drinks break. What?
Yeah,
again. It's like you just had 2 hours of no play where you could have all the drinks you want. You play for 40 minutes, and then you get another drink. You get a drinks break.
It's so sus.
They go off for bad light, John. When there are lights on, I mean, seriously.
It's but. The thing is with it that from the counterpoint, fans want it in Australia. Okay, like this was the number 1 highest rated ever Test series. Boxing Day series. The three Test series over the summer. The Boxing Day,
and the crowds were good too. The Perth crowd wasn't, but the Melbourne and Sydney crowds were good.
I got some. So this is the thing. All right. Yeah, it was... where was the thing? Yeah. 349,252 people across 12 match days, which was adversely affected by the Perth crowds. So it would have been much higher if Perth hadn't have been such a letdown, right? The broadcast was the 5.5 million people across Seven Network and Foxtel. Biggest ever audience for KO Sports on day one of a Boxing Day test, with a 2% increase over last year's. It's Australians want to watch it, you know. I want to see how the West Indies one goes, because that's a 2-test series as well, a waste of time. But you know Australia's going to smash them twice.
And they came out last year too, John.
Yeah.
They came out last summer. They're coming out again this summer. So if you can work that out, you're doing a lot better than me. So, John, I know that the 2020 horse is on the march here, and we can all see it coming. We all see it coming over the horizon. But John, I don't watch the Big Bash, John. I couldn't care less about the Big Bash. Give me Test cricket over 2020 cricket any day of the week. I'll watch a whole day of Test cricket, and then I don't want to know about the Big Bash, John.
Well,
it's not real cricket. It's fast food cricket. Test cricket, it tests everything. It tests your mental fortitude, tests your patience, it tests your resilience, everything. But 2020, it's none of that. It's just a game of baseball. 2020 cricket.
Shorter though, because baseball's a long game. But well, 2020. I think the BBL. You don't want to watch it because there's nobody in it. Like really, I think that's the main reason you don't want to watch it because nobody's in it. I used to watch it when everybody was in it, but I don't watch it this year because nobody's in it. I just pay attention to the results because it doesn't have those international superstars. The Test matches, like I haven't done it for years, but I used to have sometimes friends would come over on like Boxing Day or whatever, and we'd have the Test match on all day and sit and drink and barbecue and things like that, and that is what I believe. My assumption is still happens because it's the most watched form of cricket per day, per hour or whatever. Fans really want it, but on a worldwide scale, I don't think fans want it. I don't think New Zealanders want it. Afghanistan people want it. Afghanis, I don't know. Pakistanis, Bangladesh. I just think India, Australia, and England want it, and the crowds will watch it, and the people will watch it on TV. And it's other than that, it's kind of is on the outer, and everyone else just wants 2020.
And John, what a joke the World Test Championships become now. Then it's only recently been created. This World Test Championship designed to add more relevance to Test matches. A lot of people complained that there were a lot of meaningless Test matches that just had no place on the calendar. And so this was brought in, this World Test Championship, every 2 years at Lords, the home of cricket, play this. And so then that way teams have got an incentive. But now South Africa are sending their C team to play in New Zealand. So now, straight off the bat, that now makes the next World Test Championship a joke. Yeah, because a country like South Africa have decided that they're no longer going to take Test cricket seriously.
I want to see who they will send in that. Because, Australia, not really England, Australia or India are going to win the World Test Championship.
And that's part of the problem as well. Because it's only narrowed down to 2 or 3 countries.
Yeah, they're the only ones that want to play Test cricket. They're the only ones that get the ratings and the crowd averages for crowd numbers for Test cricket.
So why create this World Test Championship? It's a joke.
Yeah, well, it's a ICC money grab type situation. Yeah, I just think that all of the big countries now are seeing more, because of the IPL, more money in the domestic BBLs, the domestic 2020 leagues, and they're just not going to participate in Test cricket. But based on crowd numbers and attendances, for Australia versus Pakistan, in Australia, it's got a home in Australia. They could, if I was Test cricket, Mr. Manager, I would just tell everyone to just bar off then, go away. I think they could have a 3-way every year, basically. Australia, India, and and New Zealand, not in the tournament, but they could have those three teams playing each other.
In England,
yeah. Australia, England, and India, yeah, playing each other in different series every year, and that'd keep Test cricket relevant in those three countries, and that's the only countries that are anyone who even care about it being relevant. You could have the Ashes every year, and you could have Australia play India for the summer of cricket every year. And
I thought, John, that day-night Test cricket, I thought that was going to be Test cricket's big way of making it big in this century. John, we haven't had a day-night Test yet this summer. We're gonna have one against the West Indies in a couple of weeks' time. I thought by now every Test would be day-night, and day-night Test cricket would be the new norm, but that's just been abandoned as well.
Well,
I know the Perth Test is sort of like a day-night Test.
Not though. That was going to be my joke.
Yeah, that's
the East Coast have a day-night Test.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like it's not a day-night Test. Day-night Test is not more exciting because of the viewership. Actually, it's not more exciting for me to watch something. Like with the Perth Test that starts in the day and finishes at night. It's more exciting because it changes cricket. It changes the cricket. It makes it more tactical. It adds in that further test. So I want it to be day-night when I'm watching it, not because I want to watch cricket from the day into the night. It's because I want to see how the players play the Test crickets over the day and night differently. Because the ball looks different at night and things like that. They actually have to do different kind of... It's a different test for them. The Perth day-night thingy, the fact that it was day-night...
It's a sort of day-night test.
Yeah, it's not as cool, though, because it was day.
Yeah, it was a day test, man.
Yeah, like when I watched it on television, there was no change. Outside in my house, it changed to night, but on the television it stayed at day, so it was not really...
It's just bizarre to me, 6-7 years ago it was the big new thing, this was going to be the future of Test cricket, and now it's like, oh no... We'll just have one each summer, and it's just day-night Test cricket hasn't progressed in the way I thought it would by now, John. And John, these are the scores in the last 4 Test series in Australia. Here's another point for you. So, as we say, Australia beat Pakistan 3-0. That's the one that's just gone. Last summer, Australia beat South Africa 2-0. And they beat the West Indies, who, as we've said, for some reason are coming out this summer again. They won 2-0 last summer, John. And then the wonderful that Australia beat England 4-0 in 2021-22. So, John, there are some Australian cricket fans who love seeing Australia just beat the hell out of everyone who comes out here. I'm not one of them, John. I want to see a contest. We're not getting any competition out here. I know India won out here before these series I've mentioned. But we're just not getting these competitive series often enough, John. It's not happening often enough. These teams need to come out here much earlier, play more lead-up games, but they won't because the schedule's too crowded because there's too many 2020 games being scheduled.
What they should be doing is dropping into New Zealand for a couple of lead-up games, a lead-up series before coming over to Australia for the actual series.
Well, it'll be better than nothing.
Yeah, playing Australia.
You wouldn't be getting Australian conditions, but it'd be better than
close enough
it'd be better than
New Zealand's
nothing.
Close enough too. I believe it's the same.
The pitches are a little bit different over there, though. They're a bit more.
Fields are smaller.
The pitches are more bowler friendly over there because they get a lot more rain, so you get a lot more green tops over there. The pitches are drier, more batter friendly here.
Yeah.
But
it's still better.
We need
make New Zealand relevant in Test cricket because they're just not now. Although they will be in the Test Championship, right? Yeah, they are because it was the top 8 from the World Cup. Which England just...
I think you mean the Champions Trophy.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Like I keep trying to say, like, it's Australia, England and India, and England aren't even that... I can't even remember when the last time England won a Test series against Australia or India is.
Sorry.
When was the last time England won a Test series against Australia or India?
Against Australia, the last time England won a series, I think it would have been the 2015 Ashes series, John, because 2019 and 2023 were drawn series, and they were both played in England, so they were drawn. So obviously they didn't win those ones, and they haven't won in Australia since 2010-11. So 2015 Ashes would have been the last time England beat Australia in a Test
And I'd
series.
say it's around the same for them against India. You know, I can't think of a time. Has India ever won a Test series in India?
Has England ever won a Test series in India? Not off the top. I can't recall.
1984,
Yeah, there you go.
1985.
That's before I was born, John. So that's why I can't remember.
Yeah. So.
So to summarise this debate, John, are we saying that Test cricket is dead in every other country other than Australia, England and India?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because nobody cares except for Australia. Crowd numbers, well, from a fan perspective, yeah, I think that's it. From the ICC, they will beat that dead horse out of every last dollar that they can.
Yes.
For the rest of eternity.
You can be sure of that, John.